How are you? Ken Arzon here, Vista, California. I've got May 11th, 2025. Ross Barnes. Have you heard of him? He played baseball from 1871 to 1881. This guy did not make the Baseball Hall of Fame. Only played 9 years, 499 games played. Did you know on Baseball Reference, if you go to Google, type in baseball reference, it has a list of career batting average leaders. Career. Ross Barnes is not on the list. Why? Because baseball reference has a requirement. You need 500 or more games to make the list. Ross Barnes played 499. Missed it by one. It's significant. Why? Because in the career batting average leaders, Ty Cobb is number one, right? 366. You got Rogers Hornsby at 358. But you know who would be above Hornsby and between Cobb and Hornsby? Ross Barnes. Career batting average 360. Albeit 499 games. He didn't get the 500 game requirement. And if he had played 2,000 or 2,500 games, could he have maintained 360? Maybe, maybe not. But let me point out some things about Ross Barnes that you may not know about. 1871, starts his career, 21 years old, only 31 games. Okay, not enough. 157 at bats. He gets 63 hits in 31 games. Bats 401. Okay, 31 games. So in 1872, his second year, he gets into 45 games and gets 99 hits. He's averaging about 1.5 hits per game played. All right, listen to this. He bats 430 his second year. Back to back 400 batting average season. But we've got to point out the fact 31 games his first year, 45 games his second year. My point is this: this guy's a pretty good hitter. What does he do in his third year? 60 games. Okay. 320 at bats. He scores 125 runs in 60 games. That's an average of 2 runs scored per game played. And he gets 138 hits in 60 games. Let's say he maintained that average. And let's say he played 120 games. Instead of 60 games, he played 120. Since he got 138 hits in 60 games, how many hits would he have gotten in 120 games? That would have been 276 hits in 120 games if he had played that many. And how about this? What if he played a 154 game season? The pace that he was on. Yikes! 2 hits per game, right? You got to say he would play 34 more games. 34 times 2, 68. 276 hits plus 68. For the 1873 season, Ross Barnes, if he had played 154 games, was on pace for 344 hits. Ridiculous, right? We don't know if he can have maintained it. But, I mean, come on. 138 hits in 60 games. He bats 431. He goes 3 years in a row over 400. So his fourth year, plays 51 games. Okay, in the 1870s, they didn't play as many games in a season. But he gets 259 at bats, 88 hits, bats 340. So that's 100 points less. Okay, so 4 years, listen to this: 401, 430, 431, and 340. His fifth year in the league, 78 games. That's the most so far. Listen to this: 393 at bats. He scores 115 runs. He gets 143 hits in 78 games. That's an average of 1.8 hits per game played. Not quite 2 hits per game played. 1.8. Not 2.0, but 1.8. He bats 364. Woo. 5 years. This guy's incredible. All right, his sixth season in the league, Ross Barnes. 66 games. He gets 126 runs scored. Again, he's averaging 2 runs scored per game played. He gets 138 hits in 66 games. That will be the best average of hits per game played in the history of baseball played from the 1870s until the present. He averaged 2.1 hits per game played that season. 138 hits in 66 games. He bats .429, his fourth 400 batting average season. Albeit not 100 games or not 150 games. He's playing under that. But what's going on with this Ross Barnes guy? Could this guy hit? All right, his seventh season in the league. 22 games, not much. He batted .272. What a drop-off. And then his eighth season in the league, he gets 77 games, .266. What happened to the 400 batting average season and 300 batting average season? So he goes 2 years in a row, under 300. And then his last season, 69 games. He bats .271. But how about the stretch of baseball that Ross Barnes played from 1871 to 1876? I'll repeat it again, just for the fun of it. He batted .401, .430, .431, 340, .364, .429. So in a 6-year period, Ross Barnes' batting average, cumulative, .399 in 6 years. In a 6-year period, he averaged .399. He's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He only played 499 games. But in that time, he got 860 hits, and his career batting average, .360. How about Ross Barnes in baseball history? What if he had played 154 games in a 20 to 25 year period? Where would his numbers have been? Was he that good of a hitter that he could have maybe batted .350 or better and maybe had 3,500 to 4,000 hits? Was he that good of a hitter? Now, you may say in the 1870s, maybe they threw it, they had it underhand, and then he hit it. But did you know that the pitching mound was 50 feet away instead of 60? So if the pitching mound is closer to the batter, is it harder to hit or easier to hit? I think it's harder to hit. But if they threw it underhand, and if foul balls were not counted as strikes, and if some of the hits or some of the walks were counted as hits. We don't know on the stats there. But I'm looking at the baseball reference. Check it out. Ross Barnes baseball reference. It does say that he had 116 walks. Why would it list that if walks were counted as hits? So I think legitimately he got 860 hits in 2,391 at bats, and that's an average of 360. How about Ross Barnes for the history books? 4 seasons over 400. And he averaged 2 hits per game played 1 year. 66 games, 138 hits. How about that stretch? Woo! You want to multiply that one? He was on pace in the 1876 season for 350 hits in 1 year. The record right now is 262 by Ichiro Suzuki. But Ross Barnes, if he had played 154 games, the pace that he was on would have been 350 base hits in one season. All right, we're done with him. Ross Barnes, we're done. Who should I cover next? I've been doing a lot of old school players. Have you heard of King Kelly? He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Let's look at him. Let's look at King Kelly. See if I can find him. He's next on my list. Talk to you later. I'm out.